Nobody called me to say, Adamu, bring so money or else we can't do this. Nobody did that.
Oh, okay.
So they are doing their own things. In my state, the national chairman and so many people that are buying the form, the state chairman, they are doing things on their own.
So they are not the kind of delegates that wants you to buy a house or a car for them?
No.
Okay.
Nobody really asked me to do that. That's why I said I really am happy with the party, because the selection process of even the delegates of the party was done very professionally well and carefully so that some people cannot come there to be looking at what to eat or when to marry the next wife.
Now we begin today's conversation taking our quote from President Muhammadu Buhari, a retired Nigerian Army Major General who served as the military head of state in Nigeria between December 31st, 1983 to August 27, 1985. After taking power in a military coup d'etat, he is currently the president of Nigeria since 2015. He once said, "Before you ask, where is the change they promised us? You must first ask, what have I done to be part of the change for the greater good of the society?" Now we'll take our second quote, and this one is from Reno Omokri, a Nigerian lawyer, pastor, author, and human rights activist. He once said, "You can't promise me change, and when I demand it from you, you tell me that change begins with me. If it begins with me, then why do I need you?" Sounds like some clapback. All right, so our last quote is from Susie Kassem, an American writer, poet, philosopher, and multifaceted artist of Egyptian origin. She once said, "Choose a leader who will invest in building bridges, not walls, books, not weapons, morality, not corruption, intellectualism, and wisdom, not ignorance." Absolutely spot on. Now let's see how all of this relates to what we will be discussing today. Very warm greetings and welcome to The Conversation. We're reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabelle Oji. Now days are running, clocks ticking, and obviously stakes are high as Nigerians anxiously look forward to the 2023 elections, and hopefully the Electoral Act of 2022 has set the stage for free, fair, and democratic elections ahead of the 2023 general elections. Nigerians have been urged to change their voting pattern in order to achieve better results. But quick question first. Have you gotten your PVC ready? Are you even asking your most preferred candidate what are they bringing to the table and how they intend to solve the hydra-headed challenges bedeviling the country? Remember, whoever you vote for will determine if Nigeria should return to 1814 or move forward from 2023 to better days ahead. So that decision lies in your thumb. So don't just complain, put your thumb where your mouth is. Now, on that premise lies the topic of our conversation today with Adamu Garba, a techpreneur and presidential aspirant, formerly on the APC, with what he's now with the Young Progressive Party, that's YPP, and I will be your host. So come with me and let's go have this conversation. See you shortly. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We're reaching you from Kaftan's television here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you're right on time for the interview. Our guest on the show today is Adamu Garba. He is a techpreneur and he is also presidential aspirant for YPP. Glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Annabelle.
Great to have you. All right, now let's talk about let's start by scratching the surface and with some of the backlashes that you've gotten maybe from the controversial tweets or the retweets that you sent. So, and then some people are like, probably you've developed thick skin and you don't care anymore, or you're just carefree about them. While some people just say, well, maybe he's just been, he thinks about it privately. So what is it for you? It's just what it is?
Yeah, frankly, it's like, I like doing things that makes me feel free.
Okay.
You know, I'm those kind of person that once I agree with something, I just say it. And once I say it because I agree with it, I feel more comfortable. It gives me more comfort than all the backlashes I can receive, you know. So I'm those kind of persons that deeply believe in, I would rather be hated for who I am than to be loved for who I am not. So how I feel is just how I would do it, you know. So that's the kind of personality I am. So, but some people see it controversial because everybody likes seeing somebody to be politically correct, to package, to say that. So I'm not those kind of persons. I just want to say it the way it is. So that's why it's seeming to appear controversial, but it is really, really most of the times, you know, it's really my deep insight.
So it's not like it bothers you privately
at all. In fact, if I decided, there are some moments when I began to discover this. Once I say something that I don't agree with, this thing will remain ringing in my head till I say that thing that I agree with. So I decided to ask myself, why should I try to comfort others by upsetting my own inner feelings, something I know I don't agree with? So the best solution is just to voice out that thing that is deep inside me, the way I feel it is. So with that, no matter the backlash, I'll just be okay with it. I'll just be laughing and be looking at it because I believe in what I said, and it's fine.
Okay, now, so we'll take some of those tweets, one after the other, some of them. Now, we'll start with the recent Twitter ban or Twitter suspension, like they call it. And according to the tweet that you reeled out, you said that Twitter needs to get out of Nigeria. Now, first, do you still maintain that stance?
No, I don't anymore. Why I said they have to get out of Nigeria then was because of the situation at that moment, and they are doing nothing to take care of it. I happen to be a student of platform business too, or platform strategy. So part of the courses, there is something called platform politics. And the responsibility of any platform provider, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google, Apple, one of their responsibilities is to be able to encourage the good behavior and discourage the bad behavior. That's the governance model that is running the entire platform technology. So that is why sometimes when you do hate something, you will now see it being blocked. That's the discouraging the bad behavior. And then when you do something good, sometimes you just see it moving around. That's encouraging the good behavior. But in their own case, so many bad things are happening on their space, and they turn a blind eye to it. In fact, in some cases, they even allow you to keep replicating even though it's fake news. Some people can tag it as fake, but they will just carry it. That's why I say they have to get out, since they are not ready to organize themselves and do the right thing. And it appears that there are some select countries where they do these things. Provided they don't agree with that country ideologically, they keep attacking them. They did the same thing to India. They did the same thing to President Donald Trump when he was the president of the US. And at the same time, they also came to Nigeria to do that. So I tell them that in this case, for them to block all the good people of Nigeria like they blocked Donald Trump, they would rather block them.
So, like I asked before, you're not maintaining that stand because we noticed that you did your crowdfunding via Twitter. Yeah,
Twitter, Facebook, and all digital platforms. Now they have confirmed. Now they want to follow the good behavior.
So now you're now with them.
I'm now with them, 100%. I love Twitter more than almost all the social media, except Crowley, my own social app. But all other ones, I love Twitter more than them.
Okay, we'll definitely talk about that, Crowley, since you mentioned it. Now, I recall that in 2020, you instituted 1 billion naira suit against Jack Dorsey. How's that suit going?
Yeah, I actually withdrew the suit from court. Why? Because I was vindicated on many fronts. But the reason for my suit was because Twitter was advocating for so many ills in Nigeria. And I was complaining about that. They chose to allow what they like and disallow what they don't like. So therefore, and the platform technology is not supposed to do that. You know, you have to define yourself whether you are a publisher or you are a platform. As a platform, you allow everybody to voice his own view and allow the natural process to flow according to people's belief or not belief on that thing that they said. As a publisher, you choose what to publish. So are they media company or they are technology company? So what they were doing then, they're acting more of a media than a technology company, choosing the content they will allow and what they should disallow. So the best solution is for me to take them to court, because they are allowing content that is grossly becoming anti-Nigerian or instigating Nigerians against its own self. So the best solution is to send them away. And that's why I said in this case, I took them to court and I said that they should pay $1 billion, or if they can't do that, they should come to Nigeria, publish an apology, and at the same time set up an office in Nigeria, pay Nigerian tax and hire Nigerian labor. So if they do that, we are good. If they don't do that, they should get out of the country. So that's actually the result of the suit. So I withdrew it because so many people began to blame Twitter for what they are doing to Donald Trump and his supporters during the 2020 election.
Okay.
So it was clear that they are acting more of a publisher than a technology platform, thereby betraying the whole concept of platform technology. So was seeing that, I decided to withdraw the case.
And so one of the cases was during the NSAS protest.
Yes,
you felt that they had some instigations to
They did a lot. In fact, there are so many pictures that are coming from movies. They'll publish it at the real thing that is happening in Lekki Tollgate as a dead. There are some videos that came from Rwandan genocide, or I think there are other videos that we track it. It was coming from Central African Republic, and these guys decided to put it and say that it's happening in Nigeria. So when you see your people being killed, your citizens being killed, you know the complexity of Nigeria. People will naturally pick fire in their hands and start doing something rubbish. And these guys knew that they have a way to track the footprint of each video. Because it's a technology company, there is a way you can track the footprint of the video from the source of its take, the date, the timestamp, and everything about the video. And be able to identify whether it's fake or not, so that you can filter it. But these guys decided to allow it. In fact, if you are a very good tech person and you know the darknet very well, when you look at the traffic that is coming to Nigeria then, you will see the origin of the traffic. Most of them are coming from Eastern European countries. Some of them are coming from some light European countries, like the European countries that are in the middle of East and the West, and some are predominantly Eastern European countries. Okay. What concerns them from what is happening in Nigeria? You know, and when you track all the traffic model, and go back to what happened in Egypt during Hosni Mubarak Osta, or Libya during Gaddafi Osta, you see that the origins of the traffic are the same. So it means there's a deliberate effort that these guys are trying to do to orchestrate problem so that we Nigerians can kill ourselves for them to steal whatever it is that we have. Okay. So the best solution is to stop them.
All right, now let's talk about Crowley, because you talked about it. What's going on with the app since after it was removed from Google Play Store over alleged policy violation? And then on the flip side, you get some reports saying that the federal government was funding IPI Solutions, which is owned by you, in order to take gag social media. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, the truth of the matter is, Crowley is still okay. I think it was banned that time. There were a series of reports against the application when I seems to be supporting the ban of Twitter. And I even am saying that now that Nigerians are losing Twitter and they're angry, they should join Crow. We have our own too. Why can't we patronize the local one? So eventually, so many attacks came on the app, and Google decided to bring it down. And at that time, when the attack was happening, we are modifying some legal statements on it. So they tapped that activity as an inappropriate activity. So they decided to bring down the application. We brought it down to, we accepted all the terms. We now redo everything, and then we uploaded it, and it's back in store. So, but the issue
is it operational?
It's operational. It's operational. Okay. Yes, it's operational. So the issue of government funding the application, that transfer that was captured by People Gazette came to us in 2019. I think somewhere around March 2019. How could I have predicted that something of Twitter is going to happen? And that contract was a contract that was awarded to us in 2017. And it was awarded to us in 2016. We finished execution in 2017. The agency did not pay us till 2019. And even when they paid us, you know, they paid us when the dollar price was much way higher than the way we supplied the items we did. We lost, you know, in that particular contract. And suddenly they say that it was federal government funding us to develop Crow app. It's not actually.
So that's false.
Completely, 100% false.
All right then. So now we saw that you also threw your hat into the ring with regards to becoming the next CEO of Nigeria. Yeah. And aside that, we also recently saw that you pulled away the APC flag you had in your office and replaced it with the YPP flag. Now, we're going to ask you two questions in one, because a lot of people have been saying via social media, asking that what exactly is Adamu Garba's issue with the party? Is it that the exorbitant amount that he placed on their nomination forms, or is he angry with his supporters who refused to complete the nomination forms, the fund that he asked for? So we're going to bring the question straight to you.
Yes.
What exactly is your gross with the party?
The thing is, you see, when God has given you responsibility, he has made you a model of the society. Whatever you do, the society reflects it. APC, by providence, happened to be the party in power. And they wrote on the principles of integrity, probity, accountability, and transparency. That's what brought them to power. And when they came, they decided to start doing something that they had been fighting about for a very long time, especially under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari. They've been fighting against so many of those evils for long, and when they came on board, they now started implementing such things. So, and it's a problem. So we began to question and also talk about it, but they seems to not to worry. In fact, the thing keep getting worse. One of which is the financialization of our political space.
Okay.
They try to remove everything that is called competency, everything that is called capacity, integrity, somebody's ability to deliver. All those things are non-consideration for the APC government. Today, if you have 3 million naira, they will give you a job in the civil service. It's very open. Soldiers going to the front line, there are some areas where they will put them. Once you know that this is where they sent you to, to go and commandeer that area, you know that you are cashing out big time. Even on our military deployments, at every point in time, getting into school is about money. Going to hospital, everything, all the general hospitals are not working. You have to go to private hospital about money. Going to private school, you have to get it because you have to pay money. On public schools, they don't work. Our university students are home. Everything is about money. So we've been complaining about this over-financialization because the entire space has been over-financialized. But our last hope was on the political office. We knew that the 8-year term is going and most of them might be out of the system, so we can be able to engineer a better society. So we decided to say, okay, let us throw up my hat into the ring. And when I come there, in addition to so many other people, they decided to financialize that place too. So you have financialized everything about our life. Everything is about money. I think when you came in, you had me discussing with my PA about the financialization of the delegate system. All the delegates, they don't care. They don't even want to see your face. Just drop that envelope. You get the vote.
But you've been a card-carrying member since 2015.
Yes,
how come you're just noticing it?
Yes, that's why I say I've been complaining about it. If you track down my interviews in most of the media organizations, I think I'm one of the most critical members of APC inside APC. I always raise out my mind. Sometimes I'll even call press conference to complain about issues that I don't agree with. But eventually, because we are young people, sometimes we used to have this kind of belief that maybe what they saw we didn't see, so we give them benefit of doubt until our time comes. So what is it our time? When the next election cycle appears. So the next election cycle comes and then they financialize. Today I saw it in all papers that the chairman of the party who was attacking us for complaining about the financialization, he himself today is complaining about financialization. He's talking about that the delegates are selling their conscience. Meanwhile, he's the one that started the process. You put a price of a form, just a form at 100 million naira. What are you trying to say? That 99.9% of Nigerians can only vote, but they can't be voted for? What is democracy? When your minimum wage is 18,000 naira, it means that the price for the highest form in this land should be 18,000 naira. That's democracy. A democracy is a system that allows every member of that society to have capacity to vote and be voted for. And you filter them based on their competencies, based on their capacity, based on their deliverability, based on the sellable project they have for Nigerians, and so many other things. All those things are out. Pay 100 million carry form. If you're a bandit, go and catch some people, pay 100 million. If you're a terrorist, go and destroy, steal, pay 100 million. If you're a drug dealer, if you're a Yahoo, whatever you do, just pay 100 million.
But you still have the primaries to sieve the wheat out of the chaff out of the wheat.
No, you don't. You see, the fact that you have identified with the party and even picked its presidential form is a very serious insult to the integrity of the party. You don't supposed to allow that at all. You must be able to conduct an internal debate. And we copied this democracy from United States, for God's sake. Before Biden and Trump became the final contestants, when you look at the Republicans or Democrats, you see so much list of so many aspirants. You see sometimes up to 20 of them. By the time they conduct 4 debates, look into the profile and the perception of the people, some of them will be dropping by themselves. They know that their project is not going through. So it is the last 2 or 3 that will now be projected that will even be allowed to acquire the nomination form. But unfortunately, they say they want to make money. And when you put something about money, I used to give, when the national chairman responded to us then, very respected elder statesman whom I like, but again, he responded by saying that we are not serious and that is it a motor park, even on leadership of motor park, you must pay money. That's what he said. And clearly, I know that the only place where money matters is motor park. Because if you go to motor park, whether you are the most dirtiest person or the whatever you have, you must be able to, once you have money, you can go. Okay. So, or either motor park or a brothel. Those are the only places where only money matters. So that's what they made the APC. And today he's crying about it. I saw it. I'm telling you on papers. He's saying that delegates are selling their conscience. But that's it. We showed that this is who we are. The APC decided to put a very bad model on the political process, and that's really not too good.
So now some APC aspirants or chieftains that have been interviewed have always said that regardless of whatever happens in the party, they stay with the party. No matter what, they're not leaving the party. But then some are asking that with the nomination forms and then you opt out. So what if tomorrow YPP does not have because today they don't have the issue of nomination, exorbitant nomination forms, but then tomorrow they have one other issue which you might not be okay with, and then probably you become the president by that time. Would you actually leave with the votes that you've gotten from them?
No, the thing is, depending on the veracity of the issue, all of us are working for Nigeria. If the issue you brought forth affected the entire Nigerian state, I will not associate with you, wherever you are, because I'm those kind of radical patriotic person. So the APC issue is something that affected the whole country. You've seen what is happening in PDP. You've seen what is happening in all the parties. It's all about money. Why? Because the APC decided to show that model. So if YPP decided to do something like that, of course, I'll find another way. But I know that since we are there, that will not happen.
Okay, so
and one thing I like with YPP is that it's democratic, it's young, it's egalitarian, it's round table, and our decisions are respected. The national chairman is a young man, 38 years, So when you look at all this kind of organization, you've seen the future of Nigeria. So we will work seriously in the interest of this country. Okay,
so then why not PDP? Why not ADC? Because some of the aspirants in YPP have also left YPP and moved on. So, and that's one on the side. And then the secondly is, what are your chances in YPP?
Yes, on the issue of moving, from parties, like aspirants are leaving YPP or maybe moving to PDP. To me, PDP and APC is the same party. It's the same people that just changed their colors and migrated. And ADC, yeah, it's a good party. There was a time I attempted to go there in 2019. Not really did, but some of my friends decided to say we should go there, but I refused. I wanted my APC then strongly. And that I know some people were there, so I don't know how they are. I decided to go to YPP because I am a progressive, and that YPP is a progressives party too, young progressives party. While APC is all progressives party. So I like the progressivism, and that's why I went to YPP.
Okay.
And my chances in YPP will be decided by our delegates, which I'm very, very much sure is not going to be money driven. Because I know the process. I understand the process. I've discussed with the party. I looked into the NWC. We looked into everything. It's going to be the delegates sitting in a room. The candidates will come, air their programs, and then go to the vote.
Since you talked about delegates, what are your thoughts on this delegate system or this indirect system? A lot of people believe that it is corrupt. It's just an avenue for giving job to the boys.
You see, indirect system works very well in a country that has proper structure. Usually a country that understood the knots of its citizenry. Most of the principal knots in citizens in any country where the citizens are the families. Like in China, you have about 86,000 families. that vote for 40,000 people. The 40,000 people eventually votes for 2,000. The 2,000 eventually votes for 400. The 400 eventually votes for 40. And within that 40, they vote for one person that will be the Secretary General, who will be the next president. So that's 86,000 families. In the United States, you have about 529,000 of those families that are called the Democratic College. So usually you don't even know them. You know, they will be presented with this kind of programs and they will now say, this is our direction. So it is the final result that you see. That's how it is done. Even the candidates sometimes don't know who they are. So until we fine-tune our consensus in Nigeria, identify different families, and then be able to change the census from individualism to family census, then you can now be able to filter them. With that, you can now institute something called a delegate system. It's a representative system. Very fantastic, fine system, purely integrity driven. But in our own case, no, the governor will choose the delegates under his chairman of the local government and every other person, and then give them directive, and they go and vote for who they are. And he tells them clearly, it's a settlement. Though. This is your last chance. When you go there, you didn't get something, don't come to me again. That's what is happening. So therefore, as long as we do not reorganize the social construct of the society to fit into the delegate system, it is completely not working.
Okay.
I think this delegate system, we need to completely throw it away. And look into direct completely, or find a way to always come out with consensus. where required, because to the best of my knowledge, it saves more money. But with the delegate system, a situation whereby the only thing you can present to be voted for in office is money. You just encourage criminals and criminality and corruption, nepotism in the system. Because if I want to nominate a delegate, I only nominate people that are loyal to me. Most often, family, friends. You know, family and friends, that's what it is. So that's nepotistic. So that's really not really good. It's not working for us.
Okay, so before we go on a break, I'm going to ask you two questions, and I'd like you to take them in one breath.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people have said that the main crux why you left APC is because of the big weight that has thrown their heart into the ring. Maybe you feel that you cannot be able to withstand them. That's why you left. So we'd like you to address that personally. And then on the other side, have you because now we see that the aspirants are going around to shop for delegates, and then some of them are even putting them in their pockets. So have you been able to talk to any of your delegates, probably give them, they call it transportation fee? Have you been giving any of the delegates any transportation fee?
Yes. On the first question, I didn't leave because of the big wigs. In fact, in 2019, I aspired for the same office of the president when President Muhammadu Buhari was the incumbent with a chance. So, and of course, the president signed Not Too Young to Run bill and asked us to wait, you know, and allow him to continue. That is even the main reason why I gave him the solidarity and then stayed within the party. So if big wigs are my concerns, I wouldn't have even declared on the party where I know the president is coming from. I wouldn't have done that. And that's the only reason. Because to the best of my knowledge, most of the aspirants, none of them is as prepared as I am. I know about this thing 100%. And they know too. So, but the only thing is that I cannot agree to a process that we will go in and set a very bad precedence for the future. So that's why I voiced it out and I decided to leave. The second question about delegate, yes, I've been talking to them. Some of them, they will just even come to my office. We'll just sit and discuss. Some of them, I place calls to them, you know, because it's a very egalitarian party. There is practically no delegate that I know in YPP after my conversations with them that have nothing doing. They are not career politicians. They are all serious people that are doing something. So they just decided to want a very good progressive party and they joined to participate in politics. So when you call them, they're in their offices. Some of them will come here. Some of them might go to their offices. Some of them will place calls and talk to someone that I have never met. And you find out that they are doing things. Like most states now are picking up with activities about YPP. Nobody called me to say, Adamu, bring so money or else we can't do this. Nobody did that.
Oh, okay.
So they are doing their own things. In my state, the national chairman and so many people that are buying the form, the state chairman, they are doing things on their own.
So they are not the kind of delegates that wants you to buy a house or a car for them?
No.
Okay.
Nobody really asked me to do that. That's why I said I really am happy with the party because the selection process of even the delegates of the party was done very professionally well and carefully so that some people cannot come there to be looking at what to eat or when to marry the next wife. Yes.
All right, we're due for a break. So let's go on this quick break. And when we return, we'll continue this conversation with Adamu Garba. Don't move a muscle.
When you come back to the area of anti-corruption, we don't even believe that there should be existence of anti-corruption agencies because they are just reactive.
Really?
Yeah, they're just reactive. It's when corruption happens that they chase. We need to look at the preventive approach to corruption.
So you're going to flush away these anti-corruption agencies we have?
We are going to look at preventive approach to corruption.
Okay.
We are going to implement technology systems across the budgeting system.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We're reaching you from Captain's Television here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you missed quite a lot. Our guest on the show today is Adamu Garba. He is a techpreneur and he is presidential aspirant for YPP. Now, before we went on that break, we've said quite a lot of things. Now, let's talk about your declaration since you declared to become the president again. You are actually vying for the position of the CEO of Nigeria, but then you have never occupied any public office, public service office as a chancellor or as a chairman or a governor. So how then, a lot of people would ask, how then do you intend to wear a crown that you've never sized before to see how weighty it is, especially becoming the president of a country as complex as Nigeria? How do you actually think that you can fit in very well?
Perfectly so.
Okay.
Why? Because I will have gone for the position of a councillor or even chairman of local government or member of House of Reps or state assembly or a governor or senator. Not really the president. But when you look at the foundational program that we arranged for Nigeria and the situation that is making us to fall into the troubles that we are facing today, you find out that the issue is systematic. And the only way to fix the systematic problem is going to the top, to be able to have the green pen and re-engineer the country. Because the country from foundation, from independence, it was gotten at the point where we're dividing. We got independent in the country where you have 3 regions, and all of them are claiming to be like prime ministers of their regions, to the best of my knowledge. Despite the fact that we have some central representation, but it's just a mirror image, to continue to extract from the share that comes to the center, but not necessarily institute policy that will deliberately unite the country and build economy. So, and when the agitations of some people was coming, they were asking that they are excluded in the system after the Biafra War, which was also the result of that division. Because the Biafra War that was fought was also as a result of that confusion. Gowon decided to say, okay, he will settle some groups and decided to give 12 states. After the 12 states, agitations again came forth. No, we also were excluded. It's about sharing formula. They gave 19 states. After 19 states, again, agitations came forth. No, we are also excluded, 24. Another agitation, 30 states. Another agitation, 36, now with FCT, 37 states. So the country was founded at the point of political division, not really unity. And everybody struggled to come to Abuja to get a share of what they can get, not build their state so that the center can benefit from the corresponding building. So a situation whereby you have a foundational fault, in everything. It means if you decide to go there, you can't do anything. And that is why in 1999, when President Olusegun Obasanjo became the president, people had high hopes on him, because he was the president then, so it would be easier for him. It was, of course, the damages that happened. We started having OPC crisis immediately. After the OPC crisis, there were other crises in Odi, in Niger Delta, Zaki. From there, we now have a lot of back and forth flashes all over, including religious crisis, Sharia crisis erupted. He left, Yaradua came, Boko Haram started bombing and fighting and killing. After Yaradua left, Jonathan came on board and the Niger Delta militancy became an institution. He has to dedicate a lot of money and time to be able to whitewash the criminals that were bombing the pipelines. That's how it happened. And again, when Buhari came, we now see banditry and terrorism now has extended from the northeast to the northwest and even to the north central. Herders and farmers started crisis, lack of paying attention due to emotional and political considerations, led to full-blown insurgency and terrorism. So you see, this foundation has been very consequentially damaging to this country. And the only way to fix it is to re-engineer, to fundamentally re-architect or reconfigure the entire country so that we can escape that backlash. We're a third world economy country. We are supposed to run what is called a mission economy. Our principal concern should not be the issue of politics, but the economic integration. And over time, we haven't had leaders that really understood the economic statecraft that is helping to build countries. And these are the programs we brought on board. If you go back to, for instance, politics, this is the kind of country that we don't supposed to have a central political system. We are supposed to decentralize the politics. You have about 350 ethnic groups. From these ethnic groups, we have regions that have cultural affiliations, that have their traditions, they have their values, they have their religion, and their beliefs and their mores that is completely different from the other section of the country and the other section of the country and the other section of the country. So what you do is allow those areas with that same belief and configurations to have their own political setting based on their own sincere realities. While at the center, you pay attention to economy. So a president of Nigeria, somebody like me, if I am given opportunity by God and Nigerians, I'll pay attention to only two things. One, macroeconomics, and two, foreign policy. But the issue of internal policing, the issue of internal politics, this thing should be decentralized. The issue of waiting for oil to give me money, this thing should not be the case. So many countries in the world, like China, for instance, that have about 720 tribes, have to pass through this kind of arrangement to be able to emerge some regions in China. I think about 16 regions that currently control the whole of China. Countries like India, they have about 600 tribes, but you don't hear them talking about different tribes in India. Why? Because of this extreme political decentralization and careful management of economy. Okay. Countries like Russia, they have about 86 different states in Russia, and 22 of those states are like countries with their own presidents and their parliaments, so that they can manage their politics the way they are, and then at the center, they manage the economy. So that's why we decided to re-architect the country. All these geopolitical zones, we throw them away. We bring in geo-economic zone, and then we make it 9 geo-economic zones based on the way we look into the triangle of the country. The Nigeria is like a 3-triangle kind of country. You have the productivity, the energy, and the trade triangles. So with that, each of the triangle will have 3 geo-economic zones to be able to foster the economic integration of the country. And we set up KPIs that are going to be tracked based on individual Nigerians, individual consumer. We have a program we call 6666, then 6060. So these KPIs is going to ensure that our inflation drop by 6%, our GDP grow by 6%, our interest rate stay at 6%, our average Nigerian live above $6 per day. So
you still see a single digit for the inflation?
Definitely. These are programs once implemented 100%. We're coming down to single digit within 3 years. We're coming back to single digit within 3 years. Okay. So this is what we are looking at for the country. A lot of things.
Okay, now let me ask you, because quite a number of challenges Nigeria is facing at the moment. But then this government or this administration actually came with that mantra. I remember that you have been an advocate of this government when they came in. They came with that mantra of change to stabilize the economy, to come with anti-corruption medicine, and then to protect the country in terms of security. Now, if you're looking at these challenges, they're still there. Insecurity is a hydra-headed challenge that has nosedived and then gotten surged. And then you talk about the economy where $1 is yet to become 1 naira. We don't even see that happening anytime soon, because now we are talking about over 600 naira in the parallel markets. And then you talk about anti-corruption, or corruption as it is. At the moment, you should be looking at the presidential pardon of Dariye and Nyame, and then you're still talking about the Patricia Ete's case, and then you're talking about Nsime Ikere, and then the accountant general. Way too many to mention. Now let's start with these 3 sectors. What are your blueprints in tackling these 3 sectors?
You see, the government came with these promises, but they don't know how. And that is why this 2023 election is about, when you say you're going to tackle the economy, what are your hows? Like in the area of security, which is one of the most pressing issues, we decided to say we're going to look at something called Council for Political and Security Affairs. It's going to replace this Federal Executive Council, because we believe that the 99% of Nigeria's security challenges are driven by political interest after research. Anywhere there's political interest, there will be security, insecurity. That's how it has been from the beginning of the country till now. The Biafran crisis was security. The coup and counter was politics. The coup and counter coup was politics. Metatsine crisis in the 80s was politics. The Kafanchan crisis was politics. 1990s crises that we've been having was politics. 2000s crisis, politics. 2010s, politics. Now we're in 2020s. We've seen it. It's still having political interest. So how do you fix it? By building that council. This council is going to bring the entire security architecture of the country, the major political actors of the country in one place with 350 traditional rulers as part of the council.
Okay.
With this, we can deliberate how to handle these issues that are coming forth. Like, let me give you an example with the case of Biafra agitation. Biafra agitation has been there from inception of the country. And it has lingered so long as the country stays. Why won't policymakers pay serious attention to finding lasting solution? Why is the one Nigeria became the major driver they are pushing? You know, so the council is going to discuss this thing. The council is going to look at, since Nigeria is a federation, we remove this so-called republic. We are not a republic, we are a federation. Why not have Biafra Republic inside the Federal Republic of Nigeria, like some other countries have done? In fact, most recently, Philippines. They have a section towards southern Philippines that have been disturbing them, agitating, killing, bombing, causing problems. They call them what's the problem? They say, we don't agree with the politics of the center. We want to do our politics the way we want to do it. And the Filipinos decided to say, okay, let us give you your own republic. We were one nation, one country, but please build your own politics the way you believe. And perfect peace. Russia has this thing. They have 22 regions, as I mentioned to you earlier. So why don't we consider that? You can see even in the United States of America, so many states that we see in the US are more of countries. They have their laws. They have their system. The laws that is governing gun control in Texas is different from the way it is in Iowa. So we need to look into these things. So why don't we create this thing? Like if you come back to the case of banditry that we have in the Northwest, that Turji guy, the acknowledged terrorist among them, used to complain for long about crisis he has with the emir of Shinkafi local government, a single local government. But because the political actors and the security actors are not there, and the traditional rulers were not called to order, and them listened to, it has boomeranged to consume the entire Northwest. It would have been easier when the senator representing Zamfara State, the member of reps representing that area, the governor, the traditional ruler who is the Zamfara State chief, the commissioner of police, the DG, the SS director of Zamfara State, and the DP of police in that area, and the military commandant in that area to sit in one place and discuss that issue. They will have solved the problem. Nigeria's security issue cannot be solved with hard power. Okay. It has to be consultative using the soft power. So that's what we are looking at in the area of security. When you come back to the area of anti-corruption, we don't even believe that there should be existence of anti-corruption agencies because they are just reactive.
Really?
Yeah, they're just reactive. It's when corruption happens that they chase. We need to look at the preventive approach to corruption.
So you're going to flush away these anti-corruption agencies we have?
We are going to look at preventive approach to corruption.
Okay.
We are going to implement technology systems across the budgeting system. Where the corruption happens starts from budget and implementation. That's the outcome. So all the budgets that we do in this country, from the budget office to the accountant general office to the Ministry of Finance to distribution into the fiscal economy, you can track them. If you look at the total amount of money we spend in Nigeria, I think we spend close to $90 to $120 billion every year to run the country from like federal, state, and local government. Federal government, let's say $30 billion. Most of these monies, 75% get burnt into the civil service through contracts, recurrent expenditure, and so many other confusion. Sometimes one team will be awarded, one contract will be awarded 15 times, and nobody can be able to track and deduplicate it. When you build these things in a database, create string value for each of the headlines of this contract, you are trying to eliminate the entire chain of corruption. Put everything in transparent glass. This is public resources. The public need to know how their money is getting moved. So just imagine what you mentioned about the accountant general. In the 21st century, where if you have a company with 5 staff, they have accounting software. But in Nigeria, an accountant general can be able to sit 80 billion naira And nobody cares about it. So when you look at these things, it means that lack of accountability chain is what is causing the problem. Put software. That is why we're going to work with McKinsey to tie this our KPI based on the responsibilities of each office within all the ministries, departments, and agencies. We now use EY, Ernst & Young, to clean our books properly. Then we get the software and implement it. In our office, like the office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, we're going to hire a security expert, someone that understands the document control flow, so that we can perfect the pyramid. Then inside the civil service, we train this civil service, of course, one of the most trained staff actually in the country. They are civil servants because they go to all places in the world to get training, but they don't use it. We train them on the use of software and then force software flow. Any budget that goes, we track it till it matches the KPI. Those KPIs that I mentioned, 660. So that's exactly what we do. With that, you will see that anybody that is trying to do something wrong will be tracked. Like even on ordinary iPhones or any activities you do on WhatsApp today, it's tracked, it's locked. You can be able to pick it up. So why in Nigeria we don't do that? So that's what we intend to do. Okay. And on the area of economy too, you ask for economy, we are going to pay attention to central bank extensively. It's going to be independent. And the macroeconomics implementation of the central bank, most of the monies that come into the country, especially the dollars, we channel them into building infrastructure. The biggest problem we have that inflation is going high is because of lack of infrastructure. You see there are so many oranges and mangoes, getting wasted in Benue. Meanwhile, in many major hotels in Lagos, they import their oranges from South Africa. When you ask them why, they will tell you because they cannot guarantee constant supply from Benue. And that's why they have to import from South Africa. We have so many salad in many other areas, like in Jos, in Birningwari. So all those areas, what we need is just to bridge our supply lines. Then we built a lot of programs. We have one program we call Farm to Factory. We have series of programs that we need to do to be able to perfect the economy properly. Farm to Factory is another program. We have another program we call Rural Women Empowerment Program, where we are going to do it in partnership with Bangladeshi government. The Bangladesh are going to give us our women so that we can develop skills in tailoring, industrial tailoring centers across the 774 local government. We have another program of NNPC where we say we are going to liberalize commercializing. We want to list it on Global Stock Exchange. Not the way they did it here. They just put it in NNPC Limited and give it to the few. That's what we intend to do. All we need from NNPC is the dollars it brings, not the oil it takes out. So we carry NNPC, list it on Global Stock Exchange, attract the dollar. The same way Brazil have done with Petrobras, or Malaysia did with Petronas, or recently Saudi did with Saudi Aramco. We list it on Global Stock Exchange, attract dollars so we can build infrastructure. Okay,
so very quickly, how will all of this affect the over 33% unemployed Nigerians and the over 40% unemployed youth?
To be very candid with you, only Farm to Factory is going to give us 14 million jobs based on our estimate. We are going to empower 60 farmers. Only 60 farmers. Each of these 60 farmers will have at least 1 million acres. That means we have 60 million of acres.
Just how would you go about that?
No, because we have 75 million acres of uncultivated, arable croplands in Nigeria. So these 60 farmers, we give them target of 10 crops. So you divide them by 10, you give them target of 10 crops. That means 6 groupings. Your job is to farm only cotton. Your group. I need 6 million acres of cotton land. You wheat. You rice. You palm kernel.
Are you looking at a particular region?
Yes, the whole region we have particular crops that grow.
Oh.
If you talk about palm kernel, it grows in the east. When you talk about cocoa, it grows in the west. When you talk about cotton and other crops like rice, it grows in the north. So you do this kind of fine-tuning and identify farmers and inject money to them, because that cotton that we are farming in that land, we need it. It is that cotton that will give us opportunity to sew our clothes. And for you to sew that cloth, it has to be processed first. It has to be packaged. It has to be wholesaled. It has to be retailed. And apart from the value chain of this cycle, you go to tailoring, it fixes that particular material. From the material people buy to wear, from wearing, the same material goes to washerman to create another value chain. It comes back to you. The washerman will buy soap that is coming from the same seed of cotton. So when you look at this chain, you are talking about almost 18 jobs around the cycle. And each of the chain is an industry. Similarly, when you come to cocoa, it's an industry. It has industrial value chain. Similarly, when you come to groundnut, it has industrial value chain. If you come to palm kernel, it has industrial value chain. So, and even our tomatoes, our pepper, all of them, they must pass through farm to factory. A policy that will ensure that each crop that is farmed does not go to our stomach directly.
So you just
have to process, package, wholesale, retail before we eat.
So you just have the farm to factory, or you're intending to build industries?
Yes, we use farm to factory as a policy.
Okay.
To ensure we build industries.
Okay.
Simple example is you have a tomato farm. This tomato that is extracted or maybe harvested must pass through storage first. All the tomatoes, then processed, then packaged, then take it to wholesale, then retail. No more buy raw tomato in the market because that's our jobs that we're eating away. So it means that all the tomatoes must pass through processing. So that's the policy we implement. Every food that we take from our land must pass through processing before we eat it. That's farm to factory. So that's only one policy out of 40 that we intend to implement.
Okay, because our time is fast spent and we have a lot of things to discuss. Yes. Now, your recent tweet stated that, and quote, the only person, this one, let's leave that one. This one says, let all people of northern Nigeria vacate Anambra State with immediate effect. So now, I hear you talk about one Nigeria.
Yes.
So is that actually the way to go if we keep preaching about one Nigeria, coexisting or mutual respect, and then you become the number one citizen? Would you actually ask all northerners to leave a particular place and go to other places? Is that your way? Because is that going to feel that calls for secession?
Yes. No. Let me, if you go through the tweet before this one, I tweeted clearly talking about the failure of government to protect ordinary citizens. And I say that until and unless a proper government is put in place that will guarantee the safety of the people of the north that are staying in Anambra State, because the killing has been cyclical and continuous, they should leave Anambra State. Because currently the government seems to do nothing about it, talk nothing about it, make rhetoric on media and keep quiet. And tomorrow again we woke up with another cycle of killings. Another cycle of killings, another cycle of killings. Since the thing is becoming an ethnic profiling, why can't they evacuate and come home? So when I said these things, it attracted a lot of attention and questions. I decided to give this option as a vote. If you agree, retweet. That's what I said, just to track the vote. But there's a precedence to what I said earlier. If there's no protection for these citizens, please, why are they staying? It is clear that there's ethnic profiling. And once you allow ethnic profiling to gain root, you are setting precedents for genocide. And the best way to prevent genocide is let those people that are not secure, that the government cannot protect them, leave the area. That's just what I said. Okay,
so now on this, taking a cue from this, what are your thoughts on this humongous calls for restructuring? Are you for or against restructuring?
I am completely against the restructuring because I see it as a political asset. But I am for reconfiguration of Nigeria. I don't want to be calling because restructuring has several meanings. If you go to the north, they have their thinking of restructuring. You go to the east, they have their restructuring. You go to the west or south, everyone has his own thinking. Since the world has now become an overly political rhetoric, let's keep it aside. Let's have another term called reconfiguration. And that is why I supported this creation of Biafra Republic inside the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If Oduduwa are coming, we have Oduduwa Republic inside the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If Boko Haram say that their target is to do Islamic Sharia, right? Okay, give INEC, let's INEC register Islamic parties. Let them go and be voted for. If the people of Borno say that they want Islamic party, then they will vote for them. So let democracy filter the willings and the wishes of the people. Okay. So there are a lot of configurations that we intend to do to organize Nigeria based on its own sincere realities. There are some of our realities that we fail to adapt, we fail to accept. So these realities, we have to confront them, because the longer we keep them away, the more it makes us hate each other, not trust one another, and not tolerate one another. Okay. Since we are meant differently, we must be able to respect these differences. That's the only way we can tolerate one another. And these differences should be enshrined in our constitutional making. And that is actually what we call the configuration of Nigeria. We are even suggesting a name change for the country. Part of this reconfiguration, there is something we call Nigritia, the Nigritian Federation. If you go back to history of Nigeria in 14th century downward, the name of this region used to be Nigritia, not Nigeria. It was when we were divided and these things that Flora show writing in her book, this tropical dependency, she now mentioned the name in an area where I would like to call Nigeria. That's how we got the name, Nigeria.
So your government will change the name?
We'll go back to our root. Our name is Nigritia.
Okay.
So we changed it to the Nigritian Federation as opposed to Federal Republic of Nigeria because we are not a republic.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's quickly talk about women's inclusion in politics or the youth. Yes, we've been hearing the youth are the future leaders of tomorrow, and then thank God, because you talked about they're not too young to run, that was signed into law, and then we're still thinking of how much it has even encouraged youth to get inclusive and not disaffected in things that matters to them. Now, let's talk about the women's inclusion into politics, because I actually read a tweet where you said something some few weeks or months ago, like they say, whatever you see in the cloud stays in the cloud. The internet never forgets. I'm going to quote. He says, "It is more important to be a wife than to be a female CBN governor." And then that left social media agog. Now, taking a cue from that, are you a he for she? Or are you the kind that believes that the women are supposed to be left in the other room? They're created for the other room.
No, I personally believe that women are the balance of our societies. They are balance of our societies. And even nature makes it so. If you look at the published CIA World Fact Book, the fact book clearly gives the statistics of the population of the world. When you look at the gender side, you see for every one man, there's almost equally one woman on the whole world. If you come to Nigeria, we have similar statistics. If you go back to all countries in the world, they have similar statistics. I think it's only in China that we have a slight imbalance. For every one woman, there is 1.7 men. This gap of 0.7, you know. So when you look at this, you will see that the society create an avenue for everyone to play his role. But nature, also the same nature that creates us to create this our role, the same nature also defines some responsibilities for us that agrees to this our gender. And part of these responsibilities is that women have specific things they can do better than men, and men have specific things they can do better than women. And there's an area of convergence where both women and men can do something equal. And that area of convergence is the brain. Women can do anything that functionally, innovatively, brainy, women can do equally to the nature of men. But there are some things that if as a man, you see me standing by the roadside and I'm urinating, normal to you. But you see a woman standing by the roadside and urinating, how are you going to feel? You feel ashamed because her gender don't agree with that. So what I was saying then by that tweet is that being a woman, being a wife is more important to woman than even being the CBN governor if she's not a wife. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm not trying to make you not to be CBN governor or to be any other career, but also being a wife is equally very important. Very, very important. Okay. Because at that moment when I do that tweet, there's this feminist flora that you don't need to marry, you just can be independent woman and all those kind of things. I said, no, you don't agree with that. You are born, you know, you should also be able to. If you don't, let it be that it's nature. Maybe some medical issues, but let it be that you try or you are part of the society, contributing your factor in raising the family, in raising children, but that doesn't stop you from using your brain to any of the offices. So
will your government give room to women?
Well, I think it's a perfect balance. Like if you look at, I run 5 businesses, 4 of them are headed by women. If you move around this office, although most of my staff are out because it's a field kind of work, but if you look into the decks, the bigger decks here, within this open office, all of them are manned by women. I trust women leadership sometimes, to the best of my knowledge, more than men. So because they are micromanagers, they pay attention to detail, they invest their time and commitment to what they want to achieve. And when they understand something, they give you back extraordinary. So that's why I think, because you know they are more of finishers, they package and finish. We are raw material guys. So when you give them the raw material, they package and finish it better for you. So since I'm this kind of creative person, I'll create thinking and then come to a lady and we sit together and maybe Ajara or maybe if now or maybe Anola, let's talk. What do you think about this? Okay, let me go and do it this way. And when they come back, you see it defines much more than the way you have from the men. I've seen it over time, over 13 years that I've been running business. So women are going to be strong part of the game if I'm the president.
All right, before we finally end this program, I'll take this last tweet that you stated. And it's quotes, the only person that succeeded in bringing the lives of the Northerners much less than the lives of other Nigerians whose media team can shout at the death of the dog in the South, but keep silent on the death of a whole community in the North is President Muhammadu Buhari. Are you throwing shade at President Muhammadu Buhari?
Absolutely.
Oh, why so?
Because when something happened in the North, he hardly talks. Neither is media team. But the slight thing, I can give you a simple example. The slight thing that happened in the South, the media team is out. Because the South can talk and the North keeps quiet.
So you feel that President Muhammadu Buhari is for the South and
not
really
the North? For the South. He's afraid of backlash from the South. You know, he's I don't know whether I can call it afraid, but he is always careful of the backlash from the South because the media in the South is strong, while the media in the North is weak. And he being the president, he should be able to balance his media responses. But the situation whereby you have damages happening in the North, you keep quiet. Damages happening in the South. There was a time when we have this Sylvester case in the Christian school. The president was tweeting about it, was talking about it. But there was a time when we have problem with Hanifa, one young girl in Kano, where the teacher brutally murdered her. It takes the president nearly 3 or 4 days to be able to even allow his media team or maybe to his media team to respond. But
there's the president and then there is the presidency.
That's the problem. So if it is the presidency, I want to agree that he is responsible too.
Okay.
Because when something is happening as a president, you are having security report across all the country. When there is happening in this area and there is happening in this area, you must be able to talk about it. You must be able to vent anger. You must take action. But the situation whereby the entire country is seeing you taking action in one side, but you're doing nothing from the other side is a problem. You know, and this complaint has been hanging around the government, because some people are even saying that nearly 5 trillion naira was spent on Lagos in this dispensation from 2015 till now, but there is only 13 billion naira that is spent in Kano, where the president had the highest vote. You know, with Kano having a 13 billion naira prison. You know, so when you look at these things, there are a lot of issues.
Okay, so now before we hang our boat here, in 30 seconds, I would like you to talk on religious blasphemy and the need for coexisting and mutual respect with regards to the recent happenings with the Deborah's case and all of that. We'd like you to touch on that a little.
Yes, the issue of religious blasphemy is a concept that is potentially destructive, is not well handled. And the best solution to this is to be able to understand each religion that exists in this country, both of us. We, the Muslims, must understand Christianity and their red lines, and the Christians must understand Islam and its red lines, so that we can be able to respect one another's sensibilities and feelings. Red lines are natural with every human. There are things that you can't do with me, I will accept it. There are things that if I do to you, you just flare up. So we should be able to respect and prevent this. But the whole thing is, religion is here to empower humanity, not destroy it. And anybody that uses religion to try to, destroy humanity is going outside religion to do so. And we should be able to remove religion completely from our politics and polity in Nigeria as much as possible. Because if you track the history of religion and death from 11th century till now, there are about 650 million people that die as a result of religious problems. So once we allow religious issues to become toxic, so many people are going to die. So we should respect these sensibilities, turn down on something that doesn't concern us, and try to pay attention to humanity at the center of whatever happens. So that is, I think, what I can say regarding this crisis of blasphemy that is happening in this country. And one most important thing, the last I want to say is that I was on the topic when it happened. And that so many people attacked me when I condemned the killing of Deborah from the Muslim side. And when I came back the following day, I mentioned a red line. The Christian side attacked me, So you can see the two sensibilities. I'm just giving you a practical example of myself. So it means that when some of the Muslims that attacked me, some that likes me, they called me directly and told me that even if we allow the law to take its course, as you said, is there any court that can advocate this thing for us?
Because some people will say that we have two constitutions, the constitution, or two laws rather. We have the constitution and the Sharia law. Is that where the issue is?
Nigeria's constitution, apart from the central constitution, the Supreme Court constitution or the Supreme Constitution of the country, we have customary laws in the South and then you now have penal courts in the north. This penal code was predominantly built on Sharia, and that's how we have Sharia courts, and even we have Sharia Court of Appeal, if you notice this. So what the case of blasphemy cannot pass through the normal Supreme Court, it has to pass through the Sharia court lines. But what they are even saying is, even if they carry it to the Sharia court, will they get the judgment? I don't know if you understand what I mean. That's why they took the judgment in their hand. How brutal it might be, but that's why they did it. That is not justification.
Okay.
The law must take its course.
Okay.
The only person responsible for taking human life in a state is the state itself, not individuals within the state.
What a fine way to anchor this conversation. Thank you so much for your time with us, Adamu Garba. It's been a wonderful time having this talk with you.
Thank you very much, Annabelle, and I really have a very gruesome. I like your conversations.
Great.
Actually, yes, they are very straight and straight to the head.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, that's where we end today's conversation. We have been chatting with the Techpreneur and Presidential Aspirant for Young Progressive Party, Adamu Garba. And it's been a wonderful time here on The Conversation. Before I leave, we wish you all the best though.
Thank you very much. And I come to know your vote.
Great.
And the vote of your team.
All right, I'll see you again next time. From the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Annabelle Oji. God bless Nigeria.